Hello, and welcome to episode number 165, I do believe, of the TEW 2020 Challenge run. This is going to be my Night Raw for week 3 of August 2021. And the road to SummerSlam is pretty much almost complete. It's actually, no, it's over halfway through now. Before we start, there's a few things I do want to go over. First and foremost, slightly different format for the show this week. You'd have already seen the new intro and me putting the old intro after that to make it seem like a real show. It's just a little thing I thought I'd do to change things up a bit, and so I can plug the Twitter at the start, because I'm going to start using that now. Which gets me to the second point. The official TEW Twitter is up and running now. I plan on posting silly stuff like the artworks for shit when pay-per-view matches are getting confirmed, like just a thread of all the matches for that pay-per-view. Silly shit like the tweets I sometimes post about releasing people and like other stuff in the game. Stuff like that I'll put on there. Maybe like match cards for announced matches for Raw and SmackDown like I used to do before I got lazy on here. Just a nice place to keep up to date with Challenge Run stuff. If you fancy it, it's free, so you may as well. It's Twitter. And also, the 10-year sim video is up. So if you've got an hour and a half to spare, you can go watch TEW the movie. It's actually a really interesting watch, so I do recommend it. And the feedback's been pretty decent for that so far, so I probably will end up doing more of them in the future because I'm really noticing short-term gain from it. And like I said at the end of that video, I've already got another one that I plan on doing soon, and then another one I've got the idea of. So stay tuned for that. I'll also leave any ideas for other sims that you want me to start in the comments of that video. And yeah, the link to the official TEW Twitter is in the description. And yeah, without any further ado, let's begin Raw. We open up with a quick backstage, well, not really a quick backstage, a pre-recorded segment from Eve in her office. And she says last week Drew McIntyre earned the right to face Keith Lee for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. And again, as Twitter followers of the TEW Twitter account will know, we've already announced that match will be the opening match of Night 1 of SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship. But tonight, it's pick your poison night. Drew McIntyre will pick the opponents of Keith Lee, and Keith Lee will pick the opponent of Drew McIntyre, and yeah, let's see who can one-up each other on this road to the big World Championship clash at SummerSlam. We then get to the actual first in-ring segment. Becky's out here, and she's talking about how, you know, the man's coming around at SummerSlam, and she's been here for the last 2 weeks, but last week she's chatted to Jimmy Smith, and the week before no one else was in sight, so I guess they're already running scared of the man and they don't want a piece of her for SummerSlam. And then Rhea Ripley's the one who interrupts, and she's like, well, hi, I'm here, bitch. And I'm not scared of you, I'm your worst nightmare. And I'm gonna fuck you up and win that championship, Becky. And then Io comes out with Kairi and the belt, and we have a three-way. Kairi doesn't really say anything, she's just sort of there helping her best friend through. And then Eve's like, you know, I'm sick of this. These two, being Rio and Io, have been a pain in my neck so far for a while. And Becky, you've been known to cause some troubles in the past, of course, when you led the main event of WrestleMania, you yourself, Ronda and Charlotte, all that stuff. So next week, we're going to have our tag team match for the first time in about 16 months. The man will be in action here on Monday Night Raw. And she's going to team with the Nightmare Rhea Ripley against the Raw Women's Champion Io Shirai and Kairi Sane. And that's next week's big women's tag team main event. 70-minute opening match. Yeah, it's fine. I had to cut it a bit short, and there was no storyline attached yet. But Jeff Hardy gets a win. He quickly rolls up Apollo Crews in like 8 minutes with a flash pinfall, of course. 70 for Jeff and a 78 for Apollo. Then after the match, Jeff Hardy's celebrating, and Apollo was not happy. He got rolled up, and so he attacks Jeff Hardy, lays him out with a big power bomb or whatever his finisher is now. No, it's the ankle slam thing he does, isn't it? Yeah. And Apollo just shouts at him, saying, "You got one over on me, but you're not better than me. You're a has-been, Jeff." Shit like that. 44 rated tag team match. The team of Adrian Alanis and August Gray are here to do the job to Path of the Dragon. So I had 5 minutes to kill, and this actually does serve a better purpose later on in the show, so I had to book it. I had 5 minutes to kill, so just give Tozawa and Tambura a win, because they don't really win that often, but you need to keep them looking kind of credible. 56 for Tozawa. No, 56 for Humberto. 61 for Tozawa. 32 for August Grey. And a 40 for Adrian Alanis. Tozawa has a gimmick that's getting stale. I should probably fix that at some point. We then get a backstage segment. John Cena is with the Raw management team at the front of the building. And he's like, I'm here to fill my duties. And Shane's like, John, you're not supposed to be here tonight. It's like, what? He's like, John, you're not on the show tonight. I get that you want to be here, but we don't need you. And he's like, oh, come on. I'm not going to annoy little buddy or whatever his name is. I'm just going to be here to take in the show and the surroundings and help it with my presence because I am John Cena. And then Shane's like, no, John, we don't want you here. Go home. And John's like, oh, well, it sucks that those kids aren't going to see John Cena, but hey, let them know I'm not at fault. I wanted to be out there and do my thing for the children, but you're the one who's sending me home, Shane. Shane's like, I'll take the hit, yeah, bye. So John Cena not being allowed into the building tonight. Fuck off, Mojo. 78. He's doing it on purpose. He doesn't want to lose. He knows that his days in this company are numbered once he gets that 80 rated match. So he's doing it on purpose. But Murphy's the one who tries to get it out of Mojo this week, and he gets a 78 rated match out of him. He beats him with a Murphy's Law in 10-20. 87 for Murphy and a 49 for Mojo Rawley. And then Murphy's celebrating with the fans in the front row, slapping hands with, with children. When our resident advertisement in the front row for the new Suicide Squad movie, Peacemaker is in the front row, and he clocks Buddy Murphy with a punch, and he hops the barricade, and he starts laying the punches, and he's like, you got me banned from the... No, I mean, you got John Cena banned from the building, buddy. I told you this wasn't... I didn't want anything to do with it. I didn't want to do this, buddy, but you forced my hand. And then Peacemaker, who we've never seen before, gets into the ring, and for some reason, he's obviously a big John Cena fan, because he gives John Cena an AA through the announce table. No, he doesn't give John Cena an AA, he gives Buddy Murphy an AA through the announce table. And then security escort Peacemaker away as he's kicking and screaming, going, I'm here, I was advertised, I'm here to promote Suicide Squad, go check it out in theaters now. And Buddy Murphy just shaking his head, he's like, what the fuck? Drew is backstage. He sees Otis and Sheamus just chilling, because they won the gauntlet last week against all odds. And they're going to SummerSlam to face Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish for the Tag Team Championships. And Otis is like, Shamey, we gotta dress like a tag team. And he's like, no. I've seen how you dress with the fucking cut-off crop tops and the denim jackets. I'm not doing that. And then Drew's like, hey, guys. He's like, Sheamus gives him this big scowl. And Drew just gives him this shit-eating grin because he knows, yeah, fucker. Got ya. It's like, I'm looking for an opponent for Keith Lee tonight and pick your poison. And he's like, oh, fella, I don't mind kicking his arse. He's like, no, it's not Sheamus, it won't be you. You won't be facing Keith Lee in a singles match. I want the two of you to take him on in a handicap match and prove you've still got... It's a great time for you to gel as a tag team ahead of your big title match and to also get to do me a solid. And then Otis is like, yep, we'll do that. So it will be Otis and Sheamus in a handicap match against Keith Lee as Drew McIntyre's poison that he's picked for the champion. Backstage segment in Gorilla. AJ's sort of still selling her injuries from the Charlotte attack 2 weeks ago. And Paige is back there, she's like, are you okay yet? You haven't got to do this match if you don't feel up for it. And she's like, no, I don't need to take time off, I can wrestle. I can fight through the pain, it's fine. Liv Morgan and the Iconics are there because this is a 10-woman tag match. These three baby faces and the Iconics, who I guess soft turn baby face here because I had no one else to use, are going up against the entire Dominion group. And AJ's going in with the injury she suffered from the Charlotte attack. And that, of course, leads to that team's downfall. Because in a 76, Asuka submits AJ Lee with the Asuka lock. In 12-18, so Dominion get a big win over 5 solid members of the Raw Women's Division. Natsumi 48, Kiona 60, Micah 53, Juliet 58, Asuka 89, 68 for AJ, 79 for Paige, 65 Liv, 54 Billy, and a 57 for Peyton and Balali Royce. And after the match, Asuka and the rest of Dominion are celebrating when the J-Flow music hits. But they're not here to perform. They're actually coming out serious this week, and they're coming to take the fight to the other group because they've been the happy-go-lucky group for over a year now, and it's time to finally show they can be a bit mean if they want to be, if they've been pissed off, and they have been. So maybe they can still use the microphones as weapons or whatever, and use whatever they can to get advantage, try and take Dominion down, but this might be not as much of a walk in the park as Asuka and her group may thought, because you've seen an not evil, because they're still baby faces, but a more aggressive side of the J-Flow here tonight. MVP promo. He's talking about how last week it was a disgrace that the almighty Bobby Lashley didn't win that triple threat match. And it's not our fault, it's that fat-ass Kevin Owens' fault. He got pinned by Drew McIntyre. This specimen of a man is going to miss SummerSlam now because Kevin Owens couldn't get the job done. But he's not going to miss the entire show, actually, because this fighting the prize fighter like Bobby Lashley, the almighty, is going to be quite high on the card and get you quite a nice SummerSlam payday. And Bobby Lashley, he reckons he can fight anybody and kick anyone's ass on this show. So if anybody thinks they can tangle with the almighty, do please let it yourself be known. And who better to let themselves be known when the topic of ass kicking is brought up than our resident Mr. Money in the Bank. He comes to the ring and he thinks he can take Bobby Lashley down. And Lashley sort of laughs him off to start and goes to leave. And then Oney drop kicks him in the back and sends Lashley to the outside. And Lashley's like, what the fuck? He got one over on me. Lashley tries to get back into the ring. He jumps onto the apron, but Oney drop kicks him off again. And Lashley's like, what the fuck? Why is this guy doing this? And of course, Oney's all fired up. He's shouting, he's slapping the ropes. And the crowd are going wild, going, kick his ass. Throwing them index fingers up in the air. And then he's like, no, leave him. He's not worth it. 81 for the handicap match. Keith Lee, he gets the pinfall. He pins Otis when the Undisputed Era come out and attack Sheamus and just Sheamus. They wipe Sheamus out like behind Keith's back. So, because obviously he is a babyface champion and they are a heel group. So it would have to be played out in a way that it doesn't look like Keith's using the UE to win. So I guess they can take Sheamus out before the break or something, and then when they come back, Sheamus has been escorted to the back, and it's a singles match. Him and Otis have a go. We can maybe have Otis wrestle as the heel to let it be known that Keith is still the face, and then eventually they win and shake hands or nod of respect or something. So we don't have our champion look like he needed the help of the heels to win. But also is a handicap match, he was taken to his limit, no pun intended, because he has no limit. 90 rated segment, Kevin Owens is in the ring with Everrise. And he's like, hello, last week I should be going to SummerSlam, and MVP, I don't appreciate your comments because it wasn't my fault. In fact, it was Bobby Lashley's fault that I didn't win, because having Bobby Lashley in that match, he threw me off my game. See, in a normal singles match, I had the beating of Drew McIntyre, and you can make no bones about that. But Bobby Lashley, he was there, he ruined all my opportunities, and now SummerSlam is going to be the Kevin Owens show. But Kevin Owens won't be getting the World Championship match. And hey, Bobby, I would have come out and helped kick your ass earlier on. But, and then one of the Everrise guys like, he's scared. And he's like, no, that's not it. Shut up. and then the lights flash red. And then they flash red again. And then Finn Balor's on the Titantron in normal Finn Balor look. It's like, hey, Kevin, you really think you did good, didn't you? Let's not forget how you got in that match in the first place last week. Yes, you beat me. Fair enough. But you can't really be happy with how that went down, can you, Kevin? You think that you're better than me because you needed the help of your cronies to beat me. You cheated. But at SummerSlam, you won't really get the chance to do that again because two stipulations, well, not stipulations really, but two things I got signed off on with Eve. Number one, we will be having a rematch at SummerSlam, me and you. This isn't over between us. And your friends banned from ringside. And then Everrise go over the top and go, no. It's like, okay, Everrise and a rematch, that's two things. And Finn's like, no. The second thing is you thought that You got one over on Finn Balor, and you did. You got one over on Finn Balor. But regular old Finn, he's not going to be at SummerSlam, Kevin. Because you may be able to beat Finn, but I know somebody you've never beaten. Your kryptonite, so to speak. Your inner demon. See you at SummerSlam, Kevin. So, subtle but not very subtle nod to what version of Finn Balor may be showing up at SummerSlam. Speaking of SummerSlam and big stipulations, we then get the spooky vignette in Aleister Black and Alexa's Purge Room. And he's like, Bray, Fiend, Susie, Sue, whatever, whoever I'm addressing this to, this has gone on long enough. I've just realised I've got Bray and Susie on screen, but it shouldn't be. It's like, this has to end. This roster isn't big enough for us around here, because we will go at this forever. But we won't after SummerSlam, because SummerSlam is the end-all be-all. You bring the Fiend, Bray. Susie, you bring Su Yung. I mean, Alexa will be there. You said you wanted to meet us in Hell. Well, Hell's coming next Sunday at SummerSlam. You two, us two, inside Hell, in a cell. Challenge laid down. Hell in a Cell, Alexa and Aleister versus Bray and Su Yung. And then they go on to have a mixed tag team match, which... good signs for SummerSlam, because Alexa and Aleister have shit chemistry. But they defeat the team of Angel Garza and Raquel Gonzalez. Aleister pins Garza with the Black Mass. 49 for Alexa, 71 for Aleister. 59 for Raquel, and a 76 for Angel Garza. He outscored Aleister, but that's only because of the chemistry. But speaking of big SummerSlam announcements... after match, Raquel was helping Garza to his feet when the Vega Mafia come out. And they're like, "Aww, poor little Garza got beat by Aleister Black." Wink, wink, because, married. But, you're used to losing, aren't you, Garza? Because that's all you've done, really, since you left me. And you thought you were going to go on to success without me. But that's just not really happened, is it? And maybe we can put you down now and put you out of your misery. And then the Vega Mafia run in to help attack Angel Garza when Ricochet runs out of a chair to even the odds. And then Garza grabs the mic. He's like, "Hey, Vega, look at you. Look at your four-man group. Hey, me and Zelina and Ricochet, we'll see the Vega Mafia at SummerSlam." And then she's like, "Are you dumb? There's 4 of us and 3 of you. Why are you voluntarily signing off on a handicap? I mean, Bronson Reed, we don't know what's happened to him, and already took him out. Ricochet's not got a partner, so there's 3 of you and 4 of us." And then God's like, "Oh, I think you've miscounted." And then hip-hop sensation Bad Bunny comes out, and he actually takes the fight to Andrade, and then we get Ricochet, Garza and Raquel scaring off the rest of the Vega Mafia, and Bad Bunny is the 4th member of the team. So at SummerSlam, it'll be the Vega Mafia versus Angel Garza, Raquel Gonzalez, Ricochet, and Bad Bunny. Backstage, Bobby Lashley's heated. He's like, "Oh, god damn it, P, who's that fucking son of a bitch think he is?" He's like, "Okay, Bobby, it's fine. Don't waste your time with Oney. He's nobody. He's a nobody. He couldn't kick your ass on your worst day, Bobby." He's like, "I know, but he made me look like a punk out there, P." He's like, "You didn't look like a punk, but next week he's got a receipt coming. We'll kick his ass next week when we see him." And Keith Lee walks in. He's like, "Can I help you?" Like, I don't like this whole Hurt Business thing. But you've got quite a pristine looking athlete here, and you've got he's out for anger and he wants to come and kick someone's ass tonight. And let's not forget back at Bad Blood who Bobby Lashley lost to, that set him off on this anger. Who really set him off and made him start tearing the roster apart. That was Drew McIntyre, if I believe. And would you like Bobby Lashley to be Drew McIntyre's poison tonight? And it'd be like, done. We'll do it. So Keith Lee, rather smartly, has picked Bobby Lashley to be Drew McIntyre's opponent later on tonight in the Pick Your Poison match. Backstage segment. August Grey and Adrian Alanis, who we saw jobbing earlier on, are backstage just chatting, flirting with Aaliyah and Brandy. They're like, this was our one chance. Like, we're not going to be here on Raw. This is our one opportunity to make a name for ourselves, and we got beat here on Raw. And you're not going to be impressed. Girls like you are not going to be impressed by that kind of performance. There's not really any point of us being here. Like, we let ourselves down. And then the rest of the A-list walk in. Robert Stone, of course, is there as well, but there's a limit to the number of people I can put on screen. But you can see he's here with Elias in a manager role. And Miz, he takes his sunglasses off. He's like, I think I have something that can benefit both of us here. And then he curly fingers them over. And what could that possibly be? 80. Again, lack of psychology, not enough selling. But Drew McIntyre defeats his poison Bobby Lashley. Could we see Oney again? And he distracts Bobby Lashley, allowing Drew to hit a Claymore, which we can just have be the straight-up finish because they are both babyfaces, Drew McIntyre and Oney Lorcan. 90 for Drew, 84 for Bobby. And the match gets an 80. And Drew defeats Bobby Lashley yet again. And Oney, the kryptonite in the side of the Almighty. I had nothing else to do with these two on this show, so we're just going to get a recap of the story so far between Adam Cole and Edge, and advertise that next week they'll meet face-to-face in the ring. Backstage, Paige is with AJ in the medical room. She's like, I don't know why you did it. You weren't supposed to, you're not medically cleared to compete. But you still went out there and had that match, AJ. It's like, the doctor's like, hey, now can we leave us? Paige, I know you want to see your friend, but I need to tend to a private business. Can you leave, please? And Paige leaves the room. But waiting outside the door when Paige leaves is Charlotte, who's just smirking at her. She's like, you see what happened to your best friend, Paige. It didn't have to be this way. You didn't have to face me at SummerSlam, but you chose to. Because you are now looking at your future in there. If I can do that to AJ Lee, I can definitely do it to somebody with a broken neck. And maybe if your neck survives, you'll be able to watch my rise from that victory. But maybe you won't because you could be stuck in a wheelchair. Woo. Charlotte's like, Paige is like, oh, you talk a big game, but you attacked AJ from behind, and you're not going to do that to me. And my home country are going to be cheering me on, and it's going to be probably my last match in WWE, going out on my terms. You think I'm going to lose, Charlotte? No. You're the one who will be watching from home the day after, wondering where it all went wrong and how you lost to somebody with such a broken neck. Yeah, I expected this. The main event we announced last week. The triple threat match between Kofi Kingston, Christian, and Damian Priest for the number one contendership to face the Miz at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental Championship. It goes 17 minutes when all of a sudden we see the two jobbers, Adrian Alanis and August Grey, run out from the back, and they get involved. They start attacking people, as do Elias, Robert Stone, The Miz, and John Morrison. They all just sort of get involved, tear the ringside area up. And like, oh no! Nobody won! Oh no. Then they pay the jobbers money. I don't know if they're going to be a permanent part of the A-list act, or they were intended to just be here for one night and be like, yeah, we'll just pay the random enhancement guys to come and help us. But the A-list and their paid help here tonight have ruled the triple threat match a no contest. Dun dun dun. What could that possibly mean for SummerSlam? 82, that's actually pretty decent considering we got a 72 rated main event. But of course, what matters more than the 82 is what you thought of the show, so do let me know what you thought in the comments below, or on Twitter at TEW, because that'll be a thing that's up and running now. So far it's just got SummerSlam artwork on it and a link to the 10-year sim video. But I'll probably put all the once they get announced on episodes here, I'll add them to the match card on there. So far the SummerSlam match card on there is all the stuff actually properly announced And then I put the graphic for J-Flow and Dominion, which I haven't officially announced verbally on the show, but that was a Twitter exclusive. So yeah, keep up with that. Keep up to date with the series easily. I'll post a lot of silly like tweets and shit on there. I do further storylines and shit. And maybe just a couple of questions out there, like what's your favourite match? What are your favourite stories and shit? Just sort of get a scope of how things are going on. Easier than fucking doing videos every now and again. So yeah, that is something I just want to get up and running. Also, I do have my personal account as well if you care about me as a human being. But that's linked in the description of the Connell TEW page anyway. So yeah. And yeah, go check out the 10-year sim video. A lot of effort went into it. I made sure, because like when I watch videos like that, there's always stuff that I miss, that people miss out, that I would want to see. So I made sure to cover pretty much all the ground I thought I could. So if that does interest you, go check it out. If not, I'll see you next time for 166, which will be SmackDown. See you then.